Last 2 minutes, we are waiting our friends coming in. We are pushing them all the time. We have very good speakers at the last session. All right, our moderator is Alexander Prokopakis. He is executive director for IBIA. He wants me to introduce, he's going to introduce the panelists, and he's having, I think, short something to show you. But I would like to thank Mr. Arslanoğlu, Professor Mr. Arslanoğlu, for giving a lot of homework to my wife. And, and I'm really supporting you. More homework, hocam, more homework. So Alexander is used to work for a physical supplier, Jet Oil in past, and then for several companies, and he was co-founder of ProBanker, right? Now, lately joined IBIA and doing everything for IBIA. Please, Alexander.
Okay. I know Mustafa for many, many years, but I don't think he likes me that much. We are the last session today, the first session tomorrow, so I don't know what that does about our relationship. But in all seriousness, thank you for the Turkish Banker Association. We have a great relation with IBIA, good supporters. Mustafa used to be in our board of directors, and we have a great relation. And thank you for giving the opportunity and the stage for IBIA to be in this very important regional event. So we are the last session, right before the drinks and the dinner that we all be waiting for, but rest assured that we have a very interesting session. One very quick question, a little bit different what I do in other conferences that I go, because all of you are around bankers. So with show of hands, how many of you are your companies or yourself, or you know people of your company that they are members of IBIA? So please raise your hand. Okay, so for those that are not members of IBIA, you should become members of IBIA, because as our chair said this morning, Mr. Kapetanakis, bankers are more relevant to shipping than ever, and we have a commitment for the last couple of years to service the industry more close than ever. So true to that commitment, you need to be involved, get the knowledge and the information that we provide, as IBIA is in a changing mode. And you will be hearing and seeing us more and more, not only just to be there, but as Konstantinos said, in substance. We have been doing that with our working groups, with our members, and this is going to be continue be doing because we have the commitment of our chair and the next chair to come to continue be as relevant to the industry as we can. With that said, as the industry explores multiple fuel options from ammonia and LNG to methanol and hydrogen, we are here to send the landscape and see where we're standing. We hear a lot about these products, but we are not there yet. There's some time until we see. We heard earlier this morning from the panel that all these are transitional fuels. We will see. Our aim as IBIA, we need to be sure that for whatever product comes to the market is safe. The regulations, IBIA is fuel agnostic, and we believe that we should have global regulation, and that's why we have very close relationship, and we have a consultative status within the IMO. We know that there are regions like Singapore or even Turkey that they do regional regulations, that they are very important for the industry, but down the line, for the better of our industry and consistency, we need to have global regulations. So you're going to be a little bit patient. Our panel will start in a second. We're going to start with two very important presentations to send the landscape. So I'm going to ask to come on the stage the guy that gives the homework. So Professor Yasin Arslanoğlu, please come to the stage for the first presentation. Thank you.
Okay, I'm the bad guy, I know. I prepared for 1 hour. I thought I'm a very important guy, but they said it must be 10 minutes, so sorry about that. Thanks for invitation. Okay, he is tall, I know, I'm not. But I was a good basketball player. Anyway, it's great pleasure to present in here. Thank you for everyone, especially to organizing committee and especially my student. I couldn't say my student, but she is the best one. Anyway, let's continue. I know you saw this presentations too many times. I have to narrow the little bit more. We know that we have to arrange ourselves to 2050. I will come. I'm not gonna tell about the EXI because the former presentations about this. I already give these presentations for EU ETS to my undergraduate students, and they are doing some software for about this. We are using in the undergraduate level. So even they are improving some programs. So we get the data from the sensors and the other stuff, known reports, so we can say what is wrong with the ships, how can we improve the energy efficiency, how can we save the money. That's my goal now, so I'm gonna pass it. So, okay, so our main focus to decarbonization to prepare ourselves to the future. There are too many different type of energy efficiency increasing methods, but we will talk about the alternative fuels today, especially renewable and low carbon fuels. I know, but the thing is that, as you know, that 80% of the investment going to do renewable alternative fuels. 20% is doing for the machinery equipment increasing and the other stuff. So investment, I don't know how to say, maybe some little bit to the other technology improvements could be better, but now we are all focused renewable and low carbon fuels. As you know that we have two other stuff, cold ironing and the other stuff we are working on, my group working on this stuff. Anyway, Cüneyt Kozakoğlu already showed this stuff, so I'm not gonna say that, but the ammonia is increasing. The other people did say about the others, LNG is the best one. I know LNG is the best one for now, but everybody losing the LNG because in the first report about the LNG, 1.5% methane slip from the DMV, but the experimental results show that the 6 to 8% the methane slip occur, and as you know that the methane has approximately 30 times greater in greenhouse gases effect. So a little bit, we are trying to increase the carbon, but we are doing something bad. So we have to think about the advantages and disadvantages of this alternative fuels. I choose the ammonia because I love ammonia too much because I'm chemical engineer. Why I love ammonia? Because it's toxic. No, it's not about that. It's very corrosive and it's not very good for the, how to say, ship environment and machinery equipments. But why we choose ammonia? And they have ammonia ships. Of course, they told us first we will be ready as a commercial ships at 2024, but they say now 2025, but the MAN told us now 26 or 27 because some problems occur about the ammonia. So if we can achieve with the, how to say, the technology, definitely it's a game changer, the ammonia. We will see that. So that ammonia has MAN already very massive engine because they made the projection that ammonia will dominate the ship fuel market with a share of 35 or 60% in two years ago, but now it's decreasing. But there is a promising area about the ammonia. Let me check for my time. Okay, let me go. For bunkering operations, it's very, how to say, suitable. If you compare with hydrogen, of course, you have to keep it at minus 253 centigrade degree. LNG, you have to keep it minus 162 centigrade degree, but in the ammonia, just minus 35. So you can use commercial refrigerator system to keep it as a liquid, very convenient ambient temperature and the pressure. So that's advantage to other alternative fuels. I have to go fast. Anyway, we can use the ammonia not very easily, but because I'm gonna tell you, I worked with the ammonia like 10 years. So, okay, it's dangerous, it's toxic, but I'm still alive, as you can see that. So, 20 million ton of ammonia already using as a transportation, because we are using as a fertilizers and the other stuff. So we can manage, we know how to use and transport the ammonia already. And the LPG carriers, we already can adapt to carry ammonia also. So for this reason, it's a good choice. Of course, there are too many bad choices, but I'm not going to talk about it now because I'm ammonia guy. I'm sorry. You can later hear about from the Mehmet after me. But it's easy to store and use the ammonia. Okay. But of course, we have to not suitable as biofuels, as alternative fuels, because biofuels, you don't need to use other technologies. In here, we have to use some pump systems, we have to use the bigger cylinders, we have to use the bigger fuel injectors, because the ammonia has a low calorific value if you compare with the other stuff. But it's cheaper than methanol. It's promising. And as you know, that MOL, Misty Osaka line, focus on the methanol, and the other companies going on the methanol. But methanol has some other stuff to deal with. But ammonia could be cheaper. As you know, that Haber-Bosch process we are using to produce ammonia, they are all won the Nobel Prize because of the fertilizer. They thought it's for the humanity because of the fertilizers to increase the crop and the agriculture productivity. But they did it for the First World War, the Haber, because after the Nobel Prize, they don't look at his face because everybody accused him for the chemical weapon chiefness anyway. So if we compare with the, okay, we have two zero carbon emission alternative fuels. This is hydrogen and the ammonia. There is no carbon, as you can see that. But ammonia, and if I have, I'm not going to tell bad things about the hydrogen, but ammonia is the better option. Why? Because of course, we have to low calorific value and the other stuff, you need 2 times, like 2.5 times bigger volume if you compare with the heavy fuel oil in the ammonia. But the hydrogen, you need 5 times greater than the volume, approximately, if you compare with the others, heavy fuel oil. So you will carry hydrogen, or you will carry your goods or transportation materials. It's your choice. But you can use the hydrogen to produce the ammonia. So you can obtain green ammonia is a very good choice. Even as you know, the Saudi Arabia already going to blue hydrogen stuff, because they are using when they obtaining hydrogen, they are using the carbon capture system, and they turn to the blue ammonia stuff, and they are selling to the Europe to hydrogen. Anyway, I already talked about that. I have to little bit, okay, there is a green ammonia, so we have to use the electrolysis. So electrolysis capacity is in the world is 0.2 gigawatt. Now it's going to up 250 gigawatt. But if we manage to use alternative fuels, we need 2,000 gigawatt. So we have to use wind turbines and other solar panels. So we need to invest too much money about that. So that's the reason. That's the reason we need some transition time a little bit more, because it will force us a little bit have drastical, how to say, measurements in here. Anyway, so, but the thing is that ammonia, of course, there are bad things about the ammonia. Firstly, of course, toxic safety, health, safety problems, and we need the significant pilot fuel because it has a very slow burning rate if you compare with the heavy fuel oil, and it produces water and the nitrogen, and it makes hard to make it stable flame. So we have to use the significant pilot fuel instead of, and we have the nitrous oxide production. Nitrous oxide is 300 times more great greenhouse gas effect on that. So we can use the selective catalytic reduction, and you know that selective catalytic reduction you have to use as a full power. We need good temperature. But if you are going to half speed, you will see that the nitrous oxide production will be doubled, even quadrupled. So you have to be careful about. They are still trying to get rid of the nitrous oxide and nitrogen NO2 and the N2O. So this is another stuff. And the price is 1.5 or 2 times more if you compare with the conventional fuels for some time. So, okay, I already mentioned about that. These are my publications. This is for the ammonia in the decarbonization pathways. So we use the real data. So what will happen if we will compare some other alternative fuels with the conventional fuels? So we saw that we need new ship, and we need to consume $5 million for it. So for now, short term, we don't prefer ammonia. Maybe later, increasing with the technology, we will have to adapt the ships. And this is my other stuff, and this is very nice paper if you check it. This is also check the other alternative fuels and with the carbon intensity indicator. We already, I will tell some joke about it. Okay. Carbon intensity indicator is like a refrigerator. We saw the A, B, C, D, E. And you know that I bought some refrigerator and it was C. My students said, you are an energy efficiency teacher, why are you doing this? You have to get the A+. As you know that the A+++ there was, now it's going to A. I think in 5 years they will regulate again that one. And you know E-type ships has to improve their classification to the D in 1 year, and D-type ships increase their technology to the 3 years. So E to D is so easy to use biofuels for now, but D to C, it's a little bit, we have to think about this. So, nobody laughed, okay. Thanks for listening to me. Thanks you.
So, as you all understand, he doesn't like ammonia. He's a guy of LNG. No. Thank you very much, Professor. So we're going to shift a little bit away from ammonia. The next presentation, I guarantee you, is not that long. So next up, Mr. Mehmet Doğan. He will do a short presentation on bio-LNG.
Thank you very much I'm so pleased to be here with you, and thank you very much again for the invitation. Next. So I would like to start with the Turkey, strategic location of Turkey, and why Turkey is a good bunkering hub. Number one, Turkey has a great high renewable energy capacity. We had in 2014 21%, and we reach right now 52% by the end of 2024. Second, geography, of course, Marmara, we surrounded by seas, 3 sites, Aegean, Marmara, Black Sea, and Mediterranean. 3, very strong shipbuilding industry we have. Number 4, we have a great biofuel advantage. Why? Because the population, of course, I mean, Turkey is 85 million people, and there are lots of bio-waste. And 5, we have 5 LNG terminals. 2 of them onshore, 3 of them FSRU, 1 of them in Marmara Sea, and 3 of them in Aegean coast, and 1 in Mediterranean area. So let's look at the integrated pathways to sustainable maritime fuels. So we know how to produce hydrogen. I'm not going to go through that, but we need green energy. We have to generate green energy from solar, winds, and some other sources. And we also need water. And to produce water, we also need energy if we're going to use desalination plants, because fresh water also has a limited quantities. And the other way that our professor mentioned about ammonia, yes, we need a hydrogen. So we may either use hydrogen as a fuel, but again, we will generate ammonia from the hydrogen. So if we go through that, we need a green energy, hydrogen, and green ammonia. So there are 3 paths. So it will increase definitely the cost. And if you go to e-methanol, say, yeah, we can also do it, but again, we need a hydrogen. So it's on the 3rd stage. So it will increase the price. So basically, the price of hydrogen will be cheaper than the price of ammonia and price of e-methanol. It's very obvious. And if you look at the top, so that's my solution. And I think that that would be the future for maritime industry. That's my findings at the end of the day. So we have organic waste, and we will be soon 100 million people. Nowadays, we are using our biogas. We have around 100 biogas facilities in Turkey. We are generating electricity and selling this electricity to grid with the $133 per megawatt hour as a feed-in tariff. But if instead of generating electricity, because it's not a good decision, I will show you later on why it wasn't a good decision, if we can convert this biogas into biomethane, so that we can either liquefy it or we can inject it into the national gas grid. So then we can swap it with the LNG, because it's chemically 100% identical. So there is no difference. I mean, you may think that biodiesel and diesel has some chemical difference, but in bio-LNG and the LNG, exactly 100% same chemical characteristic. So if you look at also the prices, you may see that LNG, of course, is cheaper. Bio-LNG is a little bit higher, but the reason is that Turkey is paying $133 as a feed-in tariff. If they work, because they have a 10 years grant period, transition period, they are going to get this money for 10 years, but after the 10 years, they will get $50 or $60, so that price will be even cheaper than LNG. If you inject into the grid and if you do not liquefy it, that's very important. I will explain you later on. And green hydrogen is still expensive. And of course, green ammonia and e-methanol should be expensive than the hydrogen, because you are going to use hydrogen as a feedstock material. So there is no any other way. So if we look at the advantage and disadvantage of those products, technological readiness, LNG and bio-LNG is ready, but the others are, are not much ready. Risk category, I may say that less risky, bio-LNG and LNG. At least we are using this as a maritime fuel in everywhere. And ease of logistic, of course, LNG or bio-LNG is relatively easy than the other materials. So there's not also rules and regulation is not ready at the end of the day. So let's quick look at the biogas market outlook in Turkey. Turkey has hundreds, Turkish bio-waste potential is 100 million ton organic waste, and we are only utilizing 5 million. And ENGIE's report, if you read the ENGIE's report, the biomethane potential in Turkey, it's 15 billion cubic meter, which equals the gas Turkey importing from Russia, the same amount. So it's very important. It's like a Turk Stream or blue stream amount. It's equal. And how we can convert, how we can generate biomethane, we will just going to capture CO2 and then we will generate biomethane. The remaining will be biomethane. So then normally we are selling, as I told you, selling to the grid, but instead of selling to the grid, Turkey, if Turkey converts all the biogas into the biomethane, today's potential is 1 billion cubic meter biomethane potential we have. So this is enough for our local consumption, plus 25% of the transit. So, and we don't need to, don't forget, we don't need to liquefy it because we can inject into the grid and we can swap with the LNG. That's very important. We had some, I met with some friends from GAZUM, from Finland, and I already asked them whether they have a regulation on that, and they said yes, they do the same thing, but this is my finding. So we are in the same path at the end of the day. So what we suggest to generate biomethane instead of using biogas in electricity, generating biomethane and inject this biomethane into the grid, national gas grid, and then swap with the LNG storage terminal. So basically, because they normally regas it to the grid, right? LNG regas terminal, they regas LNG into the grid. Instead of, we will say that, okay, I'm gonna give that amount of gas into the grid and you are not going to regas LNG. So please deliver LNG to my ship. So the only certificate will be transferred from the biomethane facility to the ship owner. So you can also make it through the truck LNG. I'll show you something. So we have two plants, one in Marmara LNG plant, and another one Egegas. So, and those trucks are making more than 1,000 kilometers to reach to the end user to sell the truck LNG. It's stupid. I mean, why should we transport all those ways? I mean, 1,000 kilometers will transport the truck LNG. Instead, we can make a liquefaction plant on the eastern of Turkey, so biomethane liquefaction. So we can also talk to the terminal owner. Instead of delivering your truck, I will deliver truck LNG via my biomethane facility to your client. So please deliver this to my client, which is a ship owner. Okay, that's another idea. So let's check. Europe, Northwest Europe, and Balkans, Greece, Turkey. So these are the differences. So look at those black dots. This is the biomethane map in Europe. So you see how many facilities in Europe they have. They have a biogas facilities, but they converted all of them into biomethane. They're not generating electricity anymore from the biogas. So if you can see that graph, in 2011 it was 0. As of today, the map was 2022, but I know that it's more than right now 6 billion, so 5 to 6 billion. Imagine that 5 billion cubic meter is the half capacity of Trans-Adriatic pipeline. Can you imagine that? You know, all the European buyers visited Shah Deniz project and they said that we want to buy gas from you, and at the end of the day, through Greece, through Turkey, TANAP, and through Greece, TAP, 10 BCM gas delivered to Italy, but half of it they're already generating through biomethane facilities. On the right side, you see the German grid operator on Transgas. Those tanks are the biomethane entry points. So Europe right now is, as I told you, generating 5 to 6 BCM, and that's a great potential also for the future. As a conclusion, we believe that LNG will be a kind of transition fuel, and it will be blended with bio-LNG in the next 10 to 20 years. So this is the only viable solution, because all the others, for me, it's not practical, not so easy to implement. That's the very easy, especially you may say that the critical point here, we need a bunkering vessel, right? And in the morning session, I heard that it's expensive, so easy. How we can create the demand? So it's also easy to create the demand because we have a lovely Greece island, right? All the Greece islands are running with the diesel generators. So we may use these small bunkering ships to convert those islands from diesel generators to LNG, and then demand will be generated. We will have a ship in the Aegean coast, and those ships, bunkering ships, will also help to fuel the vessels. Thank you very much for your patience.
Doctor, you're not going to join us? You said what you had to say about ammonia, that's it? All right. Thank you very much for the presentations. Very interesting. I think we're going to set up the discussion, but because we started a little bit unconventionally, until the professor comes, we'll go one by one, introduce yourself, what you do, a little bit so they know who's talking to the audience, and then we're going to start the discussion. So, Aydın, please.
Okay. My name is Aydın. I am the energy manager of Genel, Denizcilik Nakliyat AŞ. We are the ship owner company who is providing the vessels in tanker segment. We have VLCC, Suezmax, Aframax, LR1, LR2, MR, blah, blah. So we are exploring also developing the new implementations of the alternative fuels, new technology. So we are just trading now dual fuel LNG. And new building vessel will be coming next quarter for methanol and LNG again. And also we are using now biofuels, all vessels we try to, also most of them is now testing period, B24, B30, we are just still under testing last 3 months, so that's it.
Thank you. Apart of liking methanol a lot, no? Ammonia, tell us a little bit about what you do in the university and how you came about liking ammonia so much.
Thank you for giving me too many names today, homework guy and ammonia guy. I am Yasin Arslanoğlu. I'm from the Istanbul Technical University Maritime Faculty. My group searching for the new ways to increase the energy efficiency and alternative fuels. And I have very good group. I have too many electronic engineers, control automation engineers, marine engineers, transportation engineers. That's it?
That's it.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Mehmet, when I saw the panel and I said consultant to the World Bank, I mean, one of the things that we always say in IBIA, and I think you mentioned it, the solution needs to be pragmatic. So when you need money to do stuff, and we know how ship owners operate, they always have that in mind. So giving us your perspective and tell us a little bit about your background, it will help us.
Sure. I'm not from the shipping sector, so I got no clue. I had no clue in the past. So it's very new for me, all the shipping people, but I like it. So as our professor like ammonia, I also like the shipping industry. I'm an energy guy. I spent 35 years on energy in every part of the value chain. But at the end of last year, I was invited into the World Bank low and zero carbon fuel study plus sustainable ports. So together with the COVI and potent partners, we joined the study. And you are all highly welcome. We will have a final report submission on Friday in Ankara, half-day session we will have. If you want to join, please let me know so I will organize it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll start with Aydın and tell us a little bit how you see the transition of this shipping to new fuels, greener fuels. You talk about your tankers and LNG and methanol, biofuels, we hear a lot. So we're going to go a little bit off script and start how you see the near future, the next 2 to 5 years, actually, and then the longer one.
Yeah, of course. For alternative fuels, we are using, as mentioned, biofuels, but our fleet try to keeping the align with the regulations till 2035, keeping LNG. It's very clear for us. And also half of methanol. We are already booked some Suezmax vessel as per that one. Actually, it is very complex now. In 2020, the sulfur regulation decreased from the 3.5 to 0.5. It's very clear. Just we have silver bullet SOx scrubber. We installed the vessel, most of vessel installed, and the result is very sensitive, very accurate. So we return of investment already done. But this regulation, especially CO2, fuel EU and GFI, it is not easy for us as well. In that time, I'm very relaxed, just 2 months working, just design the fleet future. It's very clear, SOx scrubber, we collect the manufacturer, that's it. But now, we have many options for LNG, methanol, especially e-methanol and biofuels. And recently, my teacher is ammonia, but we are not.
Does he give you homework as well?
No, not yet.
But he graduated from my
Yeah, same.
faculty.
So our expectation, honestly, next 2035 LNG. It's very clear for us. Our investment is that one. Only a few will be methanol due to some special agreement because you need some supply chain about that one. The main critical point is methanol is supply chain for us. LNG is okay, well known technically, and also bunkering supply chain is okay, and crew also IGF code is very clear. So familiarization is already done, so it's very clear. But due to the fuel EU, we will review 2035 next options for 2040 because LNG is still workable for EU, also comply. Fuel EU, also GFI, 2040. So our target is 10 years later, review, and again give the new building order as per that situation because our new building orders, dual fuel is already LNG VLCC vessel. 2020 we have already booked, and delivery 2022 and 2023. First vessel in the worldwide as a VLCC size LNG. First 4 vessel belong to us. So we will follow same strategy next 10 years. But till next 10 years, we keep the LNG and a bit methanol. That's it. We never consider about ammonia or something like that.
He's not going to.
No.
But you know, the path of LNG is clear. Right? It's a product that is abundant.
Yes.
Same of biofuels, it has its restriction, but it's still, because the main product is fuel, how about methanol? What's your concern about availability of the product? Because your tankers need to keep moving. So
Yeah.
how you make that decision on the availability side?
Actually, first of all, at the beginning we considered some retrofit. Some of the vessels can be logically retrofit them for methanol. We tried before for LNG, but we couldn't succeed because the cost is 10 million, 20 million, and some risk. But methanol it's really easable access for convert issue because engine is ready and storage and handling is also liquid, so the crew is well familiar, same type bunker. But the problem that we couldn't support it commercially. For that reason, we canceled retrofit and turned back to new building sites. And new building site, we made a special agreement. Of course, some of them is confidential, Major Oil. We approached them and give our intention for new building site. And they supported, and they checked the availability of the product, trading area together, we decided, and then we give the new building order through Suezmax, as per that one. So we have still some supply chain problem, we guess, for methanol. But our Major Oil
You just hope that as you
just
move forward.
already done. For that reason, we will test. We have some special agreement with them for all new technology, included scrubber, LNG, methanol, maybe near future, some additional things we are still discussing. So we will try to succeed to upcoming regulations.
Thank you. Mehmet, as you're learning about shipping, and I'm guessing you like LNG, how you see the shipping future for the next 2 to 5 years and then 20 years? Do you believe that LNG could have a bigger game than what everybody talks about transitional?
Yes, because I don't see any other practical fuel at the market right now. Hydrogen or ammonia or e-methanol, it's very complex to produce, and it will be expensive. You cannot reduce the cost because the cost of electricity, green energy, the cost of hydrogen, the cost of water, fresh water, and then the cost of methanol or ammonia, it will be always high. So we have to use LNG and then we need to blend bio-LNG into the LNG. So then we can consider it as clean fuel. Yes, as Professor said, there will be some methane slip, of course, but it's limited. I mean, especially in bio-LNG, if you use a membrane technology, it will be limited about either 1% or something like that. It's not a big deal. I mean, and also we need some CO2 in the, I mean, so.
Over the last 10 years, the reduction of methane slip has been remarkable. So we all know by now, Professor, what you believe. I mean, you hear two people that they say no ammonia. How do you see ammonia progressing? I wouldn't imagine the next 2 to 5 years, but longer term. And the biggest concern is safety.
Yes.
I mean, if you ask seafarers, and and that is the opportunity for us to say that in IBIA we give much attention to the safety and the seafarers, because without seafarers they're not going to be shipping. So how do you see that progressing in a safe manner?
Okay, I have to answer for the firstly accusation about my ammonia guy stuff. I knew that everybody will talk about the LNG and methanol because it's obvious. But as an academician, we have to design the future. So yesterday, one of you told me, who cares about 2050 because we will be dead. Anyway, but we have to think about ammonia also because it could be really game changer. And I know there is some technical, I worked like 10 years with the ammonia. I know the problems. Even every alternative fuel has another problems. For example, methanol could make you blind, and it's very dangerous. But the thing is that we can handle ammonia. We know that. That's the reason until the 2050 we will be okay as a transition fuels. But after that, we have to think about it. We have to invest technology about the ammonia. Even the MAN and the Maersk will still study about their commercial ship. Yeah, I know seafarers will deal with this, but seafarers always deal with the other dangerous stuff. So they know and how to handle it. It's not so easy, but it's not so bad or hard, I think.
And we're going to go back to Aydın and tell us a little bit about, from an operational standpoint, how did you evaluate all three of them? Because you said you just didn't dismiss ammonia. I'm guessing you made some research. So what was some of the pros and cons between ammonia, methanol, and LNG in order for you to decide that strategy for the company?
Okay. Generally, first of all, we approaching the environmental effect because that is provided some benefit. So what regulations we follow? Currently, EU ETS and Fuel EU and GFI. So we calculating the cost of the fleet basis, for example, Aframax vessel consumption in there per year. And we know the portfolio of where is the vessel trading, Suezmax, VLCC. And then we calculated the differences between the benefit of the bunker price, also different parameters. And then next step, engine and vessel compliance about that product is possible or not. And for example, for LNG, it's very reliable, and as mentioned before, the crew is very familiar now. It's very easy to find to someone to on board, to giving the some opportunity. And that part is LNG is very competitive, also well-known product. When turn back the methanol, as mentioned, methanol is easier than the LNG because the storage handling is very easy.
Correct,
so only just change the engine, also new building site. That's it, very simple. So we never consider about the ammonia. Ammonia is very complex. Recent, at least next 10 years, we never consider. Most probably no one. Only just testing some. I know the engine manufacturer also testing still about some products, and I guess some container vessel. So our approach is always just benefit we have or not. That is environmental we are following. After then we follow the technically, okay, and then we going to decided which one is benefit for us and contact the charters. If they have any opportunity, good opportunity, and then we finalize and we decided with them recently all new building alternative fuels, especially LNG, methanol, maybe near future different one will be. declare. So always this formula.
Thank you. It's very interesting, and
Yeah.
good luck as the things will change. And I mean, the discussion might shift very quickly in the next 10 years, maybe ammonia as the new
Yeah.
engines progresses. Mehmet, you gave a very nice presentation and some impressive numbers of the potential. What are the realistic prospects and timelines that you can see bio-LNG, especially for the area of Turkey, to be actually happening? Because a lot of times we just see reports, but things never materialize.
Yeah, firstly, there's a big gap between Northwest Europe and Turkey, Balkans, Greece, and Poland. We have 0 biomethane facility in our region. But if you look at the Northwest Europe, there are nearly 2,000 biomethane facilities. It's a great amount. So in Turkey, we were a problem. Hope that by the end of this year, this problem will be solved. The problem was the definition of the natural gas, because actually biomethane is exactly the same chemical characteristic composition of the natural gas. The problem was the definition of the natural gas in Turkish law was a hydrocarbon extracted from the ground. So we need to either change the definition of natural gas in our regulation, or we will explain or identify biomethane as the gas can be blended into the natural gas as 100%. So we need to define biomethane as a fuel. But secondly, it's much more important. I think it's very important for bunkering society. We have a petroleum law in Turkey, and all the bunkering license and operations is regulated under the petroleum law and petroleum department. But if you review the petroleum law, they define the bunkering fuels. Okay, it's easy. I mean, what is the bunkering fuels? Very good. We have another regulatory problem. We don't know LNG. I mean, LNG is regulated by the natural gas market. Hydrogen, we don't have the market. I mean, I don't know. Is there anyone in Europe? I've never seen a hydrogen.
So LNG in Turkey yet is not classified as a bunkering vessel?
Yes,
Okay.
not as a bunkering fuel. It's under the natural gas market law. So you can't make any operation under your bunkering license. So only natural gas player can make it, you see? And the third, hydrogen, we got no clue.
But Petrol Office did it anyway. They didn't
No,
care. They
Petrol
just took
has
it.
also natural gas license, so. Methanol, also, we don't have any market. Ammonia,
Okay.
there's no market. So the question here, how the Energy Market Regulatory Authority will identify those fuels either in an energy transition market authority or maybe under as a bunkering fuel, so it's not clear yet. We also ask some our European colleagues to get some more information, but those three fuels also very new for everyone. No one established any kind of market. But I think that would be a good combination between Greece and Turkey because you have an LNG facilities, Turkey has an LNG facilities in Aegean coast. There are lots of beautiful islands which are waiting for LNG. I don't know, but I see a great future. We'll see.
It's paradox, though. We're talking about a product that is working for 60 years. We know how LNG operates. We know that it's going to be LNG for bunkering for at least the last 10 years, and still countries like yours, ours, and many others don't even classify it as a bunkering vessel.
Unfortunately.
As a bunkering fuel, so this is a little bit strange. Professor, I'm going to go back a little bit on your presentation, and you said it yourself. I mean, the volumes that you need on hydrogen and ammonia, it's much bigger. How do you see overcoming this obstacle for shipping? Because you mentioned it, you said that, you know, you have to make a choice. You either carry the product or you carry products for commercial. So how do you see that overcoming?
You know, they are already making the type EBC tanks already, but they put the tanks under the hull, between the two plate in the hull. But it's another option, but the thing is that hydrogen is, for me, it's impossible today. Maybe in the next 50 years later, maybe it's okay, but you have to use, because hydrogen is so unpredictable. I worked with hydrogen also. I'm not gonna work with again. It almost killed me anyway. It's very dangerous. Yeah, I hate hydrogen. But the thing is that even for seafarers, it's so hard to use it. But you can convert the hydrogen to ammonia or methane or methanol. It's possible to transfer that hydrogen. The thing is that you have to make a new way to obtain hydrogen for, I don't know, green hydrogen more effectively, other ways. So it will be better. For, as you know, that the ammonia, if you carry ammonia or LPG carrier, like anyway, you can use transfer that ammonia or the other stuff. You can use as a fuel also, like LPG carriers doing that thing, LNG carriers using the LNG as a fuel, and also they transport that LNG. So we can, for now, think about this.
I think, like I said before, as time progresses, we're going to see advancement making more rapidly than it has. Mehmet said before about how Greece and Turkey can work together. You mentioned about when you make a decision goes between your charterers and financiers, of course. So one of the themes that we always saying, at least for the last year in IBIA, and we have seen it in most conventions, is collaboration. How important is, Aydın, collaboration between the stakeholders now? Because we are not in silos anymore, and we cannot operate in our small little area. So for you to make this decision, how collaboration and discussions play a role in your decisions?
Actually, our point is generally to contact our charters, also candidate of the charters, also some shipyards, special shipyards, to organize all of them. But before, of course, that one, we prepared some documents in near future. I'm also collecting some guys here, some bunker price expectations, also supply chain. So we come together and we give the offer generally, but very detailed over, not only this vessel, blah, blah. The technical details, capacity, and bunkering area, also design issue, all of them is we share and we decided together. So it is very important, refinery side, bunkering, supplier side, owner side, charterer side, especially missing point is recently we are seeing that is finance. Also we need some green finance, access to the green finance also we required about the debt collaboration. So that's why if we're getting the better support, that loan issue, it will be better for us also, the environmental effect. That part is some of our business portfolio.
How long it takes for a methanol or an LNG vessel to actually make it a contract than your conventional fuel oil vessel?
Long TC, I can share just 5
Not,
years.
not on a TC, but on a contracted base to build it. Because you said you go on details.
Yeah. Actually, for initial stage, 6 months.
Okay,
We need
that's not that bad.
yeah. To deliver periods between depends on the vessel type, because most of the vessel will be unique, first vessel in the world, or some or first vessel of that dry dock due to some slot. So it takes deliveries 2 years, 2.5 years, and then the processes plus some. Also, it's starting the commercial side is beginning. Long-term TCV required due to this for investment.
It's
Yeah.
different numbers,
Yeah.
big numbers.
Yeah.
We're going to shift a little bit about ammonia, so we take away your ammonia guy title. And there are other alternatives that they are even far-fetched, nuclear, fuel cells, hydrogen. How do these stack up, and you don't see them stack up, against ammonia or any other fuels being progressed in the next 15 years
years.
plus? Yeah, oops, sorry. Apologies.
Okay. For now, it's not, how to say, adaptable to the commercial ships. I don't see a future. It's not maybe my specialty. I shouldn't say that, but but small ships and the ferry is okay. But if you, I don't know, you can use the electrical other options instead of that the fuel cells. Of course, you can use the fuel cells. Norwegian government gives good funding about that, and Turkish ship builders doing that thing, the electrical ships and the fuel cell ships. But the commercial ships, you need very enormous, gigantic power. So for now, it's impossible. Even 50 years later, I don't see. Maybe some other options will come to the market, but hydrogen and fuel cells, not for the commercial ships for now.
So that's good that our chair of IBIA and chair of the Future Fuels Working Group, as we call it in IBIA, sticks to the main products. It keeps saying, okay, let's see how this will go,
Okay.
and we'll wonder
talk
about the other ones step by step.
Yeah, we will talk about it 50 years later again.
And we're going to close with Mehmet.
Okay, good.
World Bank, how do you see the regulatory landscape? I mean, from a financial point of view, is something that is concerning, and as we said, we believe in global regulation. How do you see it from a financing point of view?
First of all, two things. Number one, we need to create demand. That's for sure. In order to create demand, we need to renew the fleet. But while we are providing finance, we need to put a clause there or condition that if the ships will be fueled by either LNG or bio-LNG or something like that, as a new type of fuel, then the finance package will be open. So that's our plan, to create the demand first. Because without demands, how you can convert your ship? Because you can't find the fuel. First of all, we need to create demand. That's number one. Number two, for the regulatory, we have a good news. I visited EMRA, Ministry of Energy Market Regulatory Authority also. I visited Ministry of Energy, and I explained the situation. And right now, they put a special sentences or condition in the Turkish strategy report published in 2024. They will define biomethane and hydrogen and all other types of fuels as a fuel. So that's also very important. What I'm trying to say, you have seen my price assessment. So the cheapest one will be bio-LNG, okay, LNG and bio-LNG. And that source is limited. If you miss this fuel, then you need to run for the other type of fuels, which would be expensive, and then it will be hard for everyone. So that's my last word.
We'll close with that and keep it that for ship owners it might be changing, because right now they're burning the lowest price of the barrel, and this will change. I mean, the fuel mix is not going to be the same. So with that said, I want to thank the panel and thank all of you for staying until the end. Like in every good show, you're going to see us tomorrow morning again, so hopefully you join us in the morning. I want to thank Mustafa for giving the opportunity, for being there, and thank you all. See you in the drinks and the reception. Thank you very much.
We are sharp on time, like bunkering with energy petrol. I have to say this, yes. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for listening till end, and thank you for joining us. We will be here at 7 o'clock for the cocktail by Sokar, and dinner at 8 o'clock by Sokar. See you soon. Thank you.